or just get good and beat them.
Hey you beautiful people. In recent months I have been obsessed with Doom. I love playing through the game, slaying demons and having fun playing as a slayer. However, the Doom games I've been playing are the new era Doom games. While these games are considered a trilogy, these games saw massive changes between each other more than the original main line of games. We are gonna dive into that today. And I'm gonna complain. Now, Doom 2016 was the introduction to this new era, a refreshing style of gameplay, metal music, and a new story. This was delivered based on what fans wanted from a new Doom game after the mixed reception of Doom 3 and feedback on the leaked Doom 4. Id were looking to make a grounded shooter experience, and that wasn't Doom. While they did apply what was basically a modern reboot to the original Doom, I feel they still applied a lot of grounded shooter experience. Yes, you never had to reload, you have a technological suit, and there are wacky demons, but there was an environment that felt real. Not only is the art direction well done with both the UAC facility and Hell, you can also physically pick up the weapons, pick up digital tablets that held information, and able to use the environment to your strengths. It still felt right in its roots of it being a first-person shooter. There were upgrades to collect either by collecting chips from other suits, collecting modifications for your guns generously from the UAC, and completing challenges. The most important factor of 2016 is its playstyle, run and gun. Use whatever you can to go through the hordes of demons. Although, aim for the head, that's their weak point. With that, you had your standard shotguns, assault rifle, rocket launcher, plasma gun, turret gun, railgun, and the famous big gun. The guns more or less derived from the original games while also putting its own spin on them, what with the mods and those guns belonging to a futuristic facility. Encounters with the demons also range from imp and soldier fodder with some big demons to deal with later in the encounter. The story also developed naturally with Samuel Hayden providing insight about what happened to the facility. He has a constant presence overlooking our journey while guiding us. Vega was also there to physically guide us, providing info about our suit, stuff about the facility, and wayfinding. If we wanted to learn more, we will read codex entries that we collected. The music of 2016 was also a new step. It needed to be different, have cool synths, but no guitars. Mick Gordon would change that. While creating the industrial hell soundscapes with synths and white noise, metal elements of guitar riffs were added to create more banging music for combat, adrenaline filling. 2016 delivered a fair and grounded experience that is more or less a remake of the original Doom game, but it still atones to what Doom is all about. Doom Eternal had a lot more expectations to meet, as not long after 2016 was released and praised by fans, the sequel was revealed to awesome concept art. The concept art were to follow a new playstyle, which was jump and shoot. With that, it developed the Doomslayer to be the ultimate weapon against Hell, which we can control. A lot more agile, fast moving, and way more threatening. This was to complement the new gameplay, which was to master the game itself. Each demon has its own different weak points, the different guns have strengths and weaknesses, and there are a lot more bigger demons to deal with. While the game still follows a more or less remake of the original games, in this case being Doom 2, Hell on Earth, it still delivers a different experience that lives up to the hype of it being a powerhouse. It is a bit more cartoony. The glory kills, some of the demon designs, the guns are just kind of floating resources. Codex entries are random pieces of paper spread around the world. There are toys of the demons, which is a lot more funny than the Doom Guy toys. The dialogue, the environmental storytelling, and the characterization of the Doomslayer back in his home base. Oh yeah, there's a hub base now. It's more or less a menu to view your collection and unlocking upgrades, and to also have a break between missions. I feel this is due to the fact that Turtles campaign was way more expansive, with many challenges to offer to the player, and the hub base lets it act as an interactive menu to switch between missions and challenges. It does break pace between missions, whereas 2016 would just throw you in after a loading screen. It is also contradictory to the combat loop, whereas it is fast paced, but all of a sudden you got these tutorials. There is an important cutscene, there is something to unlock, and the hub base is the ultimate pace killer. But there is a mastery to learn with the game as stated, so all of these are important to learn. If you want to be the weapon, you must become the weapon, or something like that. The lore also gets more complicated. With that being, we don't see what caused hell on earth. We don't know where the Slayer has been. We don't know who these hell priests are, makers, and Samuel's a good guy, sort of. Of course, this is where the codex is more important to actually learn the story of the game. The music also delivers more metal tunes to match with the fast-paced combat loop, albeit maybe not as well done as previous, but must have been due to the crunch work that id put themselves and make in. Overall, Eternal is a much more grand evolution of the Doom formula and shooter experience, delivering fast-paced combat and challenges that are somewhat rewarding. Somewhat because the rewards are more or less just cosmetics, but feel good to beat. It was unknown where id will take the new Doom era next, but a medieval prequel was the right choice. With a proper 3-year development with all resources put into developing the campaign with a cinematic story. With a brand new setting, the game needed a new playstyle, and that was to stand and fight. You are now a tank with slower movement, unlike the agile Eternal movement, and with that there is no mastery to learn, just stand and fight. It is now more encouraged than ever to keep up with the combat loop as the glory kill cutscenes are almost completely gone, minimal collectibles, and no hub base to go back to. Play and watch this cinematic story. There are a lot more cutscenes that explain the story instead of relying on the codex. There is still a codex. Upgrades have also been minimized to just your weapons. That also includes a shield and different melee weapons. The upgrade system is a lot less convoluted with the fact that your different mods are just different weapons of the same class. Equipment from previous games have also been reduced to different elements of your upgrades. Fire, lightning, little turret. Yeah, so fantasy. This system of upgrades points to a combat where you want to do the most damage as possible that can also clear large groups of enemies, compared to the tactically spread hordes of 2016 and Eternal. All demons will chase you, they all have projectiles that will follow you, and a lot of them have armor. Areas of missions are also very expansive, with many missions taking place in what are basically little war zones, complementing the fantasy medieval war, what with group leaders, turrets, and tanks. How does hell have all of that technology? Besides that, you also have other weapons at your disposal of this time period, a mech dragon and a titan mech. Yeah, medieval fantasy. The music also takes a new approach as it was produced by not Mick Gordon, but rather a group of musicians named Finishing Move. Still metal with a lot of strings instead of industrial white noise or synths. There's still synths to an extent, what with the ambiance tracks. Overall, this is the type of Doom where it completely fulfills the power fantasies of the Slayer. It is heavy as the music and his armor. It is gritty as the environments and the demon designs. And it is a lot less cartoony by factoring a lot more badass moments. Alright, onto complaining and opinions. As I said, 2016 is more or less a remake of the first Doom, but it may have a little too much going on. I don't care, I just want to kill demons. It offers a lot of weapons and upgrades to use against the demons, but it's kind of easier to just use the super shotgun, or the gauss rifle. Although that packs with the playstyle of the game, which is to shoot it until it's dead. Just throw whatever you got. There are also runes that help movement or boost resources that are adjustable to your playstyle. The game can still prove difficult. I'm always having trouble dodging the damn pinkies. There are also no extra lives, so death can range from simply retrying or a drag. Doom 2016 is very slow. The maps are large, no fast travel, a lot of empty space between encounters, and a lot of backtracking when looking for secrets. Nonetheless, still a lot of fun to play through. I don't play the multiplayer though, just not something I'm interested in. Eternal encourages all of the weapons and upgrades to be used, with the different weapons have different ways to knock out weak points. It really feels like your own experience to learn and master. It's faster, heavier, and way more fun to play through despite the many difficult encounters that game will put you through. But that's really only for the master levels. Although, I do think where the game could lose some people is its humor. The game can laugh at itself all at once, but in a sense kind of loses cool factor points and grounded elements. There was something so cool about the Doomslayer exploring the UAC facility, finding weapons from the ground, and seeing the invasion take a toll on the environment. Eternal is like, oh, here's a floating weapon with a floating question mark indicating a secret, while also saying, look at this. What the hell are the makers? F you, read the codex. Especially with the environments, while cool, over time I kind of forget, oh wait, yeah, this is hell on earth. It just feels like hell and not, well, hell on earth. There's at least a lot more other elements to explore, like the Sentinel world and its locations. I will say Eternal is more focused on the factor of having fun and killing demons compared to the more realistic approach gameplay of 2016. But it so actively takes away control. The normal cutscenes, the cutscenes when the Slayer is doing cool stuff, and the hub base. Nonetheless, there's still plentiful combat, and now with extra lives, and no instant death when falling off ledges. Yet the difficulty can run rampant. Instead of hordes of fodder demon with a couple big demons, it is now hordes of big demons with fodder to farm resources for your mastery. Overall, there's a lot that happens in this game, and it's up to you to master it. I love it like that, honestly. Just so many ways I could play this game and a lot more satisfying to take out hordes of big demons, especially with the glory kills. Such fun animations that can make you feel powerful. All of which I can forgive the game for its less realistic approach of environments and game design. I don't care, I want to kill demons. Dark Ages changes up everything. It is full of bull. It's like they took all the criticism of Eternal and changed it all up. If I'm supposed to be a tank, why the hell do I take so much damage? This couldn't be a suit upgrade? No glory kill animations? Oh sure, there are executions and jump glory kills, but there is no individuality to these animations. These just look so much more boring. Why use the shield bash like at all? Sure, it deals with hordes of fodder, but there's a big that needs to be taken care of first, and their punches or projectiles is just gonna get you anyway. Also, yeah, projectiles follow you. No matter where you are, they will track you. You can't dodge them, only block and or parry. Blocking sucks. Yes, it is useful to deal with these projectiles, but others will just flat out knock out your shield, leaving you vulnerable and will quickly kill you. But Nick, just parry. I am, but one slip up will just kill you. I'm trying to parry Azrak, but me blocking just doesn't work. There is a slight delay of activating your block which can horribly mess up your timing. Speaking of the shield, these shield enemies. They'll just shoot at you from miles away and you have to knock out their shield first before able to kill them, and before you know it, you're down to 50 health. Speaking of health, why do armor and health pickups barely regenerate you? I have to rely on the fire element upgrade with the weapons that have them, the flail and the combat shotgun. But those weapons don't do enough damage as I want them to. Use the super shotgun, see, back to its roots. But comparing the super shotgun to the super shotguns in its past, this version sucks. Much slower and no elements in its upgrades, but it can take on any demon. Chainsaw is a new type of railgun, but it's so lame. Sure, it can knock out armor, but it's so much weaker when just using it against any other demon. The rocket launcher feels useless unless you had to regenerate. I haven't used the grenade launcher at all. The spike gun feels useless. The impaler feels useless, especially without a scope. Are the accelerator and cycler even doing any damage? The pulverizer feels like it takes its time before taking care of a crowd. The Ravager just used a super shotgun. None of these guns have things that encourage me to switch it up. Speaking of encouraging, does the game feel like it doesn't encourage me to look at the codex? Throughout the game, it convinces you that the cutscenes are the story. Why am I here? What is this place? What is the cosmic realm that is never mentioned anywhere else in New Doom lore? Who is this witch? Who is Prince Azrak? Who was the king? Is it the Dark Lord? Who the hell is the Doomslayer? 3 whole games and there's still no inciting incident that we see of why the Slayer hates the demons. All of this could be explored more in the codex. There are much less entries here because as they promise, but there's still entries to collect. But every time I collect them, it just brings me to the map. It doesn't actually take me to the entry and I had to look for what entry I collected. Okay, I don't care. I want to kill demons. Despite collecting entries, bringing up the dossier doesn't actually show you the codex entry. I'm not going to scroll to find what I just found. Also, there are entries for the demons. But you're never told that you unlock them. You unlock them once you encounter that demon. But the game never tells you that! What it also doesn't tell us, what is the relevance of the Dark Ages? I feel like I don't witness the origin of the Slayer. We just start with him, already geared up and under control by the makers. Oh, I gotta beat the bad guy. What happens with the cosmic realm and its variations of the demons? We beat the bad guy. The Heart of Argent, it doesn't seem to be brought up again. Commander Thera has never been mentioned before. Prince Azrak has never been mentioned before. Gotta beat the bad guy. The Doomslayer continues his personal vendetta against the demons. Yeah, we know. But what about Dark Ages leads to 2016 and Eternal? Besides Sentinel history. Doesn't even feel like we learn about the Sentinel history. But did you catch Commander Valen's son Marok? The guy who will be resurrected as the icon of sin? There is a lot left to be desired about Dark Ages, and I'm underwhelmed by the story. But I love playing the game. It It was a whole lot of fun exploring the environments, being an absolute powerhouse against the hordes of demons when it goes well, and it is still cinematic and grand. But also, the game is very customizable, for better or worse. Like, yeah, I would want to play the difficulty levels as they are, but I do have a problem with taking a lot of damage when we're supposed to be a tank as advertised. So I do want to churn down damage. Oh, and the game should feel faster. Oh, and the parry window could be larger. This feels like compensation for not having to learn a mastery with your weapons, so people can have different experiences within the difficulty. I don't hate it. But when it comes to Repertorium, the newly added mode, it just feels like there's no point to it when you can just do whatever with it. Play it 3 times and you get the skin. There is barely anything to do. No rune trial challenges, no Gordon's challenges, no master levels, no multiplayer. It's also tiresome in having to wait for the DLC, which I think are the campaigns that will pay off for the story of 2016 and Eternal. Anyway, my ranking is Eternal, Dark Ages, and 2016. I guess I'm more of a fast-paced shooter type of enjoyer with Eternal. It's expansive with its challenges and mastery. Dark Ages is still cinematic and a cool experience with what you can do. 2016 was groundwork for more groundbreaking evolutions of the Doom franchise, which Dark Ages and Eternal does. I may complain about a lot of things in each game, but I still love this trilogy because of how fun and cool these games are. The evolution of Doom from wannabe grounded shooter to something fantastical is what the franchise needed to stand out. And that's all I have to talk about. You know, this video kind of started as like a thesis where like, Doom 2016 kind of felt like more like a grounded shooter. But I kind of just ended up just talking about like the evolution of where these games are and how I feel about them, because I've been obsessed with these games for a while now. Funny. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video and enjoyed my opinionated rants, leave a like, comment down your thoughts, and subscribe to see more of what I'm working on and what other videos I hope to do in the future. And I'll see you all later.